T, Hot Rod, and L Train coming at y'all. Man, it's the T Train Show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up, Hot Rod? What up, L Train? Y'all know what time it is, man.
Welcome to another edition of 3 The Hard Way. Let's just get all the business out of the way first. Let me introduce my fellas. First, I'm going to introduce my guy, the influencer, the host of the fiery new podcast called The Locker Room, Mr. Coach Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What's going on, Hot Rod?
Neighborhood coach. And like I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And the captain of 3 The Hard Way is the captain of our ship, Mr. Terrence Austin T. What's going on?
What's going on, fellas, and what's going on, everyone out there, 3 The Hard Way Nation? Let's get this ship underway. Let's get it rolling. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's get it rolling. It's right. Let's get it rolling. It's right. Another heartbreak for the Cleveland Browns. Had multiple opportunities to win the game. Whether you think it was key interceptions, whether you think it was key fumbles, maybe you thought it was a coaching call at the end of the game that cost the Cleveland Browns the football game today. But the bright shining star is the growth of our guy, Shadur Sanders. So we're going to get into all of this, but I'm going to throw it to you guys first because I know you got a lot to say, T. I know you got a lot to say, and I know Hot Rod has a lot to say. So I'm just going to sit back and let you guys do it. Then I'll give you my take. But give me your insight on what you saw in the game today. Just your first thoughts.
Hey, coming out the gate, the Browns took that team too lightly. That team has only won one game going in, okay? And at the end of the day, we got to remember, as I know we know, and they should know, those are all professionals in between those white lines, okay?
Yep.
But they took Tennessee too lightly. They took them too lightly. Nothing on Shedeur, okay? And I'll save him for last. But once again, special teams reared their ugly head. You can just almost set your watch to the fact that our special teams are going to put us in a position where where we're going to have to dig ourselves out, okay? You can just almost count on that, okay? Special teams. Also, too, Miles, we love you, Miles, but they ran the ball down our throat today. Tennessee, I mean, I had never even heard of that running back, and I mean, he was just running up and down. Miles, okay, yeah, I know he's not a quarterback. I know you like to sack and knock down quarterbacks, but you need to knock down running backs too as well, okay? So I was a little disappointed there. And on our defense because Tennessee on third down, I mean, they made it happen every time. Come third down, okay? I'm jumping all over the place, but again, stopping the run, making them being efficient on third down. Boy, I tell you, what else? And then our injuries, man. I mean, we're a mass unit, we're a mass unit. We already started the game, minus 3 or 4 key players, and then I think we lost a couple of more. So that didn't help, okay? Ugly loss, terrible loss. Again, special teams, again, we're not a good enough team where you all can make those mistakes like you have been. We just can't do that, okay? Now, the bright side, hey, Shedeur continues to improve, man. He continues to improve. He threw for over 300-plus yards, a couple of TDs, the 1 interception, that was bad. But, hey, he's a rookie, okay? He's a rookie, and that's to be expected. But I love what we got out of him. He definitely, played much better than Cam Ward. Those two guys used to go at it in the offseason, friendly competition. But, Shedeur showed up today. But it's just so sad that we didn't get the win, okay? It's so sad we didn't get the win. But, once again, special teams and then our defense, not really showing up, not tackling, letting them run the ball, all over us. So that was it. That was it there. But another terrible loss. But, again, the bright side, we may have found our quarterback going forward. We may have.
So,
and I'm okay with that.
Let me start with
what do you got, Rod? What do you got?
Shedeur was fantastic. I mean, the young man showed poise today. I mean, 365 yards, 365, 2 touchdowns, 2 thrown touchdowns, and he ran in 1. Yes, the interception, I was moving in emotion. I texted you guys because I was upset because that was a horrible interception. But listening to his press conference, he knew he made a mistake. He said he was trying to make a play because in the first half, he was throwing the ball out of bounds. If it wasn't anything there, he wasn't trying to force anything. He did take a couple sacks, which he tried to do that backwards rollout again and got caught. But did I see overall improvement? Yeah. Shedeur was throwing dimes. That first pass to David Njoku was a dime. The pass to Harold Fannin, dime. Jerry Judy, dime. Dylan Sampson, dime. He was throwing dimes. He was controlling the offense. Junkins could not get off today. And I understand why you had two new linemen because Conklin was out and Wyatt Teller. So you're not going to be able to run the football like you normally do.
Good point.
Absolutely. And so
and the field was a mess too.
The field was a mess too. I think we found our quarterback, gentlemen. The problem is there's somebody in that building still doesn't believe it. Okay, and so yeah. Okay. Well,
and hopefully he's
I'm
out
talking
of there
positive right now.
Hopefully he's out of there.
I'm gonna stay positive. Let me stay positive, y'all. Okay. All right. So
you know who we talking about.
Shedeur did a great job. He has now earned the right. I think he's earned the right to just finish out this season. And I'm gonna say this because I watched Mendoza last night. I'm not wasting a first-round draft pick on Mendoza when I got Shadur Sanders. I'm not doing it. Okay? Fernando Mendoza did a great job last night beating the Buckeyes, but he is not better than Shadur Sanders. Period. Okay? Now, let's flip the script for the negative side. Myles Garrett. Let's start with Myles Garrett. Let's start there. Myles Garrett got 1 sack today. But check this out. You got to play the run too, sir. Yeah. You can't, every play, you can't just be flying upfield. The Tennessee Titans did a great job in running at Myles Garrett today, and when he was flying upfield, throwing right up under him. Okay? You got to play the run, Myles. All right? We hope you get the sack record, but you got to play the run, brother. And that's exactly. Tony Pollard went for 156 yards today. You got to play the run. Right. You got to play the run. All right? Special teams, I already said Bubba Ventrone should have been fired 3 weeks ago. Okay? That was ridiculousness. Okay? On special teams. All right? You get a punt block and you didn't even block the guy. You just let him fly through. And I don't want anybody talking about how's the coach supposed to listen, you practice this all week and then you go out and you lay an egg like that. All right? Now let's get to Kevin Stefanski. I'll save the best for last. You run the Wildcat. I said this last week. Teams are going to load the box because they know Quinshon Judkins is not going to throw the football. They're going to put 11 in the box. So you're saying that your makeshift offensive line can beat 11 in the box. So it didn't work the first time. Riddle me this, Batman. Why do you wait? Shedeur brings this team back, okay? I mean, led a fabulous 2-minute drive. Fabulous, okay? Where this kid was getting his shirt ripped off and he's running into the end zone. But then for you to run this Wildcat after the first 2-point conversion that Shedeur, like I said, he was throwing dimes. So why would you not allow this kid to win the game? Period. Or at least tie it and go into overtime. And then when you look at the play, it was absolutely absurd. You were going to run a reverse with your running back and Gage Larvadan. Fireable offense. And what made it even worse, gentlemen.
What in the world was that? Yeah, what in the world was
that? I want all of our Three the Hard Way Nation, go and listen to Kevin Stefanski's press conference. I told you guys, he is petty. He's smug. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Listen to what he said when he was asked by the Cleveland media about making that call. So I'm going to say it. I don't know if anybody agreed. I really don't care. Kevin Stefanski eventually lost that football game. He lost that game.
Yeah, he did.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Kevin Stefanski, this is about truth talk today. This is about going out and putting everything out there the way it's supposed to be out there. Kevin Stefanski is an abomination and an embarrassment to coaching in the NFL and an embarrassment to the Cleveland Browns. I went back and did the research. I remember I brought this up. I can't remember if it was last show, but a couple of shows ago, I believe it was Shadur Sanders' first start. And I said to you guys, I've never seen Coach Stefanski run so much Wildcat. It was almost like there is an agenda to stifle the potential of Shadur Sanders in the red zone. And I'm not being paranoid. And then Hot Rod hit me with, they have been running Wildcat earlier in the season, which I remember, which was a good point. But I went back and did my research. We live in the days of technology where you can go chat GPT, you can do all the research you want. When Joe Flacco was the head coach in the red zone for the Cleveland Browns, and it wasn't like they were in the red zone a whole lot with Joe Flacco, but every now and then they got in the red zone with Joe Flacco. They ran the Wildcat 22% of the time. So you saw a little bit of the Wildcat. Then you bring in Dylan Gabriel, who started to start again. It wasn't like you have a plethora of observations to be able to see the Cleveland Browns in the red zone with Dylan Gabriel. That got bumped up to about 35%. With Shadur Sanders, when Shadur Sanders gets into the red zone, they are at a 90% clip when he is in the red zone. That is not a trend. That is not strategy. That is an agenda, because it don't make sense. And Hot Rod, you are absolutely true. Everybody knows that Junkins is not going to throw the ball.
Right.
So what they are going to do is every time they are going to load the box.
All eyes on him.
You look at today's game. After my man throws for almost 400 yards today, and he's in rhythm, you would think that something would click in to Kevin Stefanski where he's like, I'm going to give this young man an opportunity to make a story today. Nope. He takes the ball out of his hands in a key moment when you need a key 2-point conversion. The crowd has energy. That stadium has energy. Your team is playing with energy. You have a chance to come back. What do? You run a trick play down there using the Wildcat. That is an agenda, my friend. Nobody can be that inept. Nobody can be that stupid. Kevin Stefanski, no matter how much we talk about him, he is not that stupid of a man. That is an agenda. And I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I'm starting to believe one with him. And let me finish this up with my guy, Shadur Sanders, because there was a lot of rookie mistakes that he made out there. You and Hot Rod brought up the interception. The interception was egregious. But I will ask anybody that puts Shadur Sanders under a microscope and starts to critique him, what do you expect from a guy that's been throwing to ball boys? What do you expect from a guy that's been throwing to trash cans? Here's what you're getting from Shadur Sanders. Close to 400 yards today. When has a Cleveland Browns quarterback done that in a long time? Bad weather. Suspect receivers.
Terrible field.
Terrible field. Bad offensive line. And having to deal with the coach that doesn't like him and doesn't want to see him do well. That is the sign, my friends, of a good, potentially great franchise quarterback.
Yep. And you forgot subpar wide receivers as well, too. Subpar wide receivers.
I mentioned that. Subpar wide receivers. And what I'm telling you is I'm not ready to anoint him the franchise quarterback, but he is the light at the end of the tunnel right now, fellas. He's all we got. It ain't Dylan Gabriel. It ain't Deshaun Watson. Sometimes the good Lord above doesn't give you what you want, but he gives you what you need. And this may be what the city of Cleveland and that franchise needs in Shadur Sanders, man. That's my take on the whole Shedeur Kevin Stefanski thing.
Yeah, and at the end of the game, fellas, I always tune into KNR's post game, where all the callers can call in and, they analyze the game, talk about the game. Tony Grossi comes in, this and that. And post game, all I'm thinking in my head is what coaches are out there. I'm thinking amongst the college ranks. I'm thinking amongst the pro ranks. I'm thinking of guys that are in the booth that are waiting the chance. Where's Byron Leftwich? I'm just thinking about all these other guys that are possibly out there, because going forward, I don't want Shedeur to have to play under this guy, okay?
No.
Because you're right. He does have an agenda. He is petty. I don't think he cares for Shedeur. I want him gone. He's a great guy, nice guy. So am I. I'm a great guy, nice guy too, but I ain't ready to coach no football team, and neither is he. So again, I'm just thinking out there, who's out there? Who's out there available? Because we need to start looking now. We really, really do. Not only for Shedeur, but for this entire rookie class, man. I love all those guys because they're balling, they're playing. All of those guys. We need new leadership. We do. So I'm wondering, hoping, and praying that we can find the right person. But I'm just wondering who's out there available. Because we daggone sure need him in Cleveland. We do. We need him.
He had 10 more tackles today. He is going to be the defensive rookie of the year. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. But let me, I'm sorry.
Stud.
Somebody
Hands down.
Jerry Judy had a pretty good game, got a 60-yard catch. But if you notice when he went into the end zone, he put his hands over his ears. So what does that symbolize? That symbolized he heard everybody talking about him. So he wanted to send a message to the Cleveland fans.
Talk to us, Rod.
Don't cheer for me right now. All right, so let me get for real right now. Jerry Judy, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but no one gives a damn about whether you liked what happened or not. Okay, you lead the NFL in drop passes. Period. All right. I was afraid when Shedeur threw the ball to you for the 60-yard touchdown. I was afraid that you was gonna drop that. Okay. If you really think the Cleveland fans care about you putting your hands over your ears, they could care less, bro. You can trip and fall tomorrow, and the Cleveland fans would care less. You understand? Don't try to send no symbols to us, all right? You trying to chew out a quarterback, a rookie quarterback, when you lead the league in drop passes and complaints, okay? You the same dude that caught that ball with against the Raiders and thought you was going to Fred Astaire or Bing Crosby two-step, and you got the ball punched out. Shut your ass up. I hate saying I'm sorry. Shut up. Shut up and go play football, okay? Because if you really think the Cleveland fans care, they don't, okay? That was nice try.
There you go.
And I love what Shedeur did. He went, and he trying to publicly show that there was no beef. We didn't care if it was beef or not. All we care about is you are, once again, you are leading the league in drop passes, okay? Catch the ball. So are we supposed to celebrate you because you did what you're getting paid to do? No. I wasn't going to let that pass. Jerry Judy, I ain't letting you slide. You ain't sliding on that one, bro. You tried it.
Yeah.
You a jag. You a jag, bro.
Steve Smith Sr. called him
you a jag, bro. Don't nobody care about that. You a jag.
Steve Smith
you understand?
Sr.
All right, so you finally
Steve
caught a
Smith
ball.
Sr.
Are we supposed to celebrate that because you caught it? That's what you the highest paid wide receiver on the field. You're supposed to. And then you're going to try to send a message to the Cleveland fans because you heard us talking about you. We're going to still keep talking about you, clown. Keep catching the ball. Because your days in Cleveland are numbered as well. I'm sorry, I got to get that off. I saw that, and that made me mad.
There you go.
No, man, listen, he better be lucky. Yeah, let me hit that. Let me hit that. Listen, man, Jerry Judy better be lucky he's playing for the Cleveland Browns. There's probably a handful of teams where he could have a case for being a number one. Jerry Judy's not a number one wide receiver. And the minute he dreams about being a number one wide receiver, he better wake up.
Right.
Because he's not even close. He better thank his lucky stars. He is in an organization right now that is devoid of wide receiver talent. So to say that he is a number one on the Cleveland Browns doesn't say much because there's not a whole lot of other places where he could go and be a number one wide receiver, fellas. I mean, that is just not the case. So, Hot Rod, well stated, my friend, well stated. I want to go back to what the Cap was talking about. I want to go back to what T was talking about in terms of what coaches are out there because I want Stefanski gone, man.
Yeah, I do.
I want Stefanski done. If I have to do another year of 3 the hard way and have Kevin Stefanski as our head coach, man, I know I don't have much up here, but I'm going to pull the rest of my hair out that I have on top of my head. You mentioned Byron Leftwich.
I love Byron Leftwich.
Yep. What are some other names out there in terms of, I think the Cleveland Browns to get somebody legit, I think they're going to have to open up the wallet.
Mhm.
They're going to have to overpay a little bit. But if I am Andrew Berry or whoever is going to be in charge of this hiring process, money can be no object.
Right.
Like you have to go, especially if Shedeur finishes these next 4 games or whatever it is, and he is better than he was today. Because I thought he was bona fide today. He just wasn't very efficient. But if he continues to be a little bit more efficient at quarterback, man, we've got something. We need a head coach that is smart enough with no agendas that can come in and kind of mold this kid. Who are some thoughts about some people out there that you may think would be a good fit here?
Yeah. And that's why I asked the question. Again, I love Byron Leftwich, okay? And he was a heck of an offensive coordinator, down there in Tampa when they won that last Super Bowl. And he had a chance, to coach then, but I don't know what happened with him, where he is now. But again, tomorrow I'm going to start, looking online and digging and probing and trying to, come up with, again, who's out there. But we definitely need somebody out there. We need somebody out there. Now, I'm okay, with our defensive coordinator maybe holding things down. If they, promote him to, head coach and then finding some other pieces. I'm okay with him because, Schwartz is a solid guy, a solid football guy. He's a no-nonsense guy, and he, he has earned respect. So he's somebody I think the organization would respect. So I'm okay starting with him, and then finding, some other coordinators to kind of help him along. But I'm okay starting with Schwartz because he kind of knows, the talent. He knows what's in that locker room. He's respected there. So, hey, why not start with him?
Leftwich. I like Leftwich.
What do you think, Rod? Who's out there?
Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is out here. Over there in Minnesota. Brian Flores. Only thing that I think that will stop Brian Flores.
Good name.
Is they, the NFL is still petty and they still holding on to what happened in Miami. That's why I feel like Brian Flores is at the bottom. Now, here's a name that I heard the other day that is absolutely hilarious to me. Is is the coach for Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin. Because apparently there's been a groundswell that the fans of Pittsburgh would like for Tomlin to leave. Would like Tomlin to leave. Listen.
I'm going to touch on that later in the show.
Don't get me wrong, Mike Tomlin is a great coach. But here is our fundamental problem, guys. We can find and research any coach that we want to. Jimmy Haslam has to be able to give total control to his GM and his coach. And Jimmy Haslam refuses to do that. That's why I call it that there's the problem right there. Everybody wanted to blame
and therein lies the problem.
D. Podesta is gone. Okay? Stefanski rightfully should be gone. But Jimmy is the one that, he pays the bills. And Jimmy wants to be involved in everything. Jimmy Haslam needs to step back because you need an offensive-minded coach. I did on, my show, I talked about what would be the quickest way to fix the Browns. The quickest way to fix the Browns is to make our defensive coordinator the head coach. You keep Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator, you bring our defensive coordinator as a head coach. There's 2 firings that would take place. Stefanski and Bubba Ventrone, both of them. Those are only 2 because
Ventrone is definitely one.
Deuce Staley is the running backs coach.
Put him on a Greyhound bus and go.
I love Deuce Staley. Ford would be gone. I watched him return kicks today, and once again, I'd rather watch paint dry. That was ridiculous. We got to go get a returner. But there are other, like in college, there are probably some college coordinators, some college OCs out there. I told you, I love Ryan Day. Ryan Day has been in the NFL before, and he has, he has been an offensive coordinator at one point in time, and Ryan Day is very innovative. I know Brian Hartline is running the Buckeyes offense right now, but Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator many moons ago. So there's a lot of names out here that we can all try to throw into the mix, but Jimmy Haslam has to be the one to allow this to happen. I believe that Andrew Berry saved his job because of this rookie class. He saved his job because all of these rookies has contributed. I guarantee you,
I agree.
Andrew Berry is
I
sitting
agree.
back like, did y'all see Shedeur throw for 365 today?
Mhm.
Did y'all see that? Yeah, I picked that guy. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of coaches out here, but my first one is Byron Leftwich. I love Byron Leftwich, and I think Byron Leftwich should be a head coach, if not an offensive coordinator in this league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt.
I just, when I look at the Cleveland Browns, like I think that, for once we've done the offensive coordinator thing, we've done the defensive coordinator thing. And again, I don't know right now, just looking at it, I don't have a name for you, fellas. I really don't have a name with you. I like Byron Leftwich. I even brought up our guy B-Flow up here in Minnesota. I like B-Flow. But those guys potentially have high ceilings, both of those guys, but you just don't know. I think you got a little glimpse of Brian Flores in Miami. Actually, he was doing pretty well in Miami.
Yeah, he was.
But they wanted him to tank. They
Right.
wanted him to tank
He
for a
wanted no
quarterback.
part of that.
He wanted no part of that. And he's been excelling with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He had that year with the Steelers, and then he came up to Minnesota, and he has been doing exceptionally well. I don't know, with all there is that needs to be fixed, that he is the right choice for the Cleveland Browns, but he's just a name to throw out there. I chuckle when people chuckle about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season in the NFL, and I know a lot of people don't think that that's a huge deal because there's not a lot of
big darn
Super Bowls attached.
It's a big deal.
But think about the teams that we root for and how hard it is for them to put together 2 back-to-back seasons winning football. This man has done, 18 years,
Yeah.
18, 19 years of just winning football. I believe they're, 6-6 going into next week. So they're right at the 500 thing. I don't think anybody's expecting them to, go to the Super Bowl.
Well, they won today. They're 7-6. They won today.
7-6.
Yeah.
There you go. So I'm not saying Mike Tomlin is the answer in terms of
Better
us
than what
getting
we
to
have
the Super
now,
Bowl.
I'll tell you that.
But here's what I'll say about Mike Tomlin, people, is that if Mike Tomlin becomes the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, let's just say hypothetically, he becomes the head coach of Cleveland Browns, I know our football team is going to look a certain way
There you go.
every Sunday.
There you
I know
go.
that there's going to be a standard every Sunday. People keep putting the title of Super Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal, fellas. I get it. People keep putting the title of Super Bowls on these coaches and holding that type of stuff against them. You've got to crawl before you can walk. And I just think Mike Tomlin, if there is a conversation about bringing somebody in that has head coaching experience that is proven, Mike Tomlin should be a part of the pool of candidates if he's
No doubt.
gone from the Pittsburgh Steelers that the
No doubt.
Cleveland Browns should be taking a look at. There's
No
no way looking at what we've been through as fans,
Right.
where a guy like that should be omitted from the process.
Exactly.
That is absolutely insanity if that is the case.
Exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the coaching search, man, because I
We
believe
need
Kevin
somebody.
Stefanski.
We need somebody.
The great thing about these losses, fellas, is that it stings because we are competitive people and we want to see our Cleveland Browns do well. But it's one step closer to getting Kevin Stefanski out of here if there's a silver lining
go.
out of there. Man, our Buckeyes played in the Big Ten Championship against Indiana. I had a feeling about this one a couple weeks ago. I had a feeling about it. I know Ryan Day really well. I know that how hard it is to win from week to week. I knew that Michigan game, if we won, would be an emotional game. And I knew it would be hard to come back from that the following week and put together a tough game. And against a well-coached team and a really, really good football team. So give me your thoughts about what you saw yesterday from the Big Ten Championship, guys.
Yeah, I tell you, it was a disappointing loss. The last time Indiana beat Ohio State was in 1988.
Yeah.
1988, long time ago. The number one song at that time was "Faith" by George Michael. Okay, so that lets you
Gotta
know
have faith.
how long ago that was. But yeah, tough loss. Julian Sane, I think he was a little nicked up. Okay, I think he was a little nicked up.
Yeah.
Indiana, I didn't know their defense, was as solid as it was because their defense is what kept him around. Their defense is what kept him around, kept him in that game. I don't know if it was, coming off the week before beating that team up north, if that had just taken so much out of them or what, yeah, that was a tough loss. But again, hey, after the seedings came out today, with us being number 2 and going forward what the playoffs look like, I, feed off of what you two guys say. Hey, We got the big, we lost yesterday, but we beat the team from up north the week before that. Now it's an even slate. Okay, they're going into the playoffs with one loss,
Yep.
better than going in undefeated and having all that pressure on them. So going forward, hey, I like our chances. I love our chances. But yeah, that was a tough loss yesterday. Again, I didn't know Indiana's defense was as solid as it was. Okay, and plus two, they got a pretty good run game too. Indiana does, But now we're going to really, really see how good they are. Going forward in the playoffs. We already know how good we are. Now we're going to see how good they are. But yeah, it was a tough loss. But hey, we're in the playoffs. We got a first round bye. Got time to kind of heal up and get ready. So let's go forward. And we beat the team up north, and now we're going to repeat as champions. That's the way I see it. But tough loss yesterday. The kid from Indiana, I think he solidified him winning the Heisman. Okay, good for him. Good for him. I just want the national championship at this point.
Shout out to Kirk Signetti, the head coach for Indiana, and their defensive coordinator. He put together a scheme that confused Julian Saint. Julian hadn't been confused all year, but he put together a defense that completely confused him. He gave him different looks. They play mainly zone, but what they were doing was they were mixing up their zone coverages, where they would give Saint a look where he thought that a receiver was open. In all actuality, it wasn't. And so it was a great game plan. I had somebody was on my social media was like, you had, Jeremiah Smith and you got Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and the DB for Indiana was 5'9", and listen, I don't want to hear all that. Jeremiah Smith was triple teamed because he had the corner on him, he had help over the top, and he had a linebacker in between. So he was triple teamed, and so was Carnell Tate. Okay. Bo Jackson really couldn't get off yesterday. He had a few times where he could have broke him.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't. Shout out to Indiana. They put together a good scheme, and they won the game. And I'm not upset about it. Okay. Was at the time, but I'm not now, because I understand that even though Indiana won the Big Ten championship, the Buckeyes are not out. The Buckeyes are just now they're number 2. And like I told you guys in the pre-show, with the brackets coming out, good luck to Indiana, because Indiana plays the winner of Alabama and Oklahoma. Good luck to them with that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? The Buckeyes will get the winner of Texas A&M and Miami.
Good luck to them. Yep.
And so they get a bye, all right? And like I said, and when it comes to Mendoza looked good. Did Mendoza look better than Shedeur? Absolutely not. He's a good quarterback. He looks good. Okay. He handled a lot of pressure. He handled it well. Okay. But I'm not giving up a first round draft pick for Mendoza. Sorry. Okay. I feel like I can take that first round pick and go get that kid Tate over on the other side. Okay. And stop throwing to Jerry Judy. Okay. So.
And he's nice.
But no.
He's nice.
It was a good game.
Carnell Tate is nice. Yeah.
I think Indiana wanted it more. When I looked at the game, Indiana just wanted it more. They weren't afraid to play Ohio State and let the chips fall where they may. But L Train, you said this, and I agree. I'm kind of glad they took this L now. So now they can regroup. And if we remember when they lost to the team up north last year, it gave them time to regroup and refocus. Yep. So that's what I think Ryan Day and his staff is going to do. Now, there has been some questions because Brian Hartline got the FIU job, and there was some rumbling saying, is he really focused? Because now he's the head coach. I think South Florida, USF. I'm sorry.
Isn't it South Florida?
So they're saying that he could be just more focused on that job.
USF,
compared to the Buckeyes. Well, Ryan Day squashed that. He said, no, he's focused. And I say that because the worst case scenario, Ryan Day will take over play calling duties. He's done it before. He doesn't have a problem in doing it. So, and for all the Buckeye haters, Carnell Tate is going to be the only one leaving from the wide receiver corps. Oh, by the way, Chris Henry Jr. just signed to go to the Buckeyes. If y'all don't remember who Chris Henry is, he was a former wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals.
That's right.
Who tragically died. His son is now one of the top wide receivers in the country. And so he decided to go to Ohio State. So you're not getting away, y'all. It's going to be Jeremiah Smith on one side and Chris Henry
he can play.
Jr. on the other side. Good luck to all of y'all in the Big Ten.
Henry Jr. on the other side. Good luck with that. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, and the cupboard is not bearing that wide receiver room with the guys that they have there now.
Right.
So
right.
You're adding the Henry kid to a great wide receiver room. Let me talk about the whole Brian Hartline thing, because that's come up, and I've had a number of people ask me about that, only because not that necessarily that the Buckeyes lost, but they didn't score as many points normally as they would score. Brian Hartline is the offensive play caller. So when Ryan Day came out and said, that wasn't a big deal, it probably was not a big deal, but I know that it hurt a little bit, because when you get away from your regiment and you have to start to work around some things, it will hurt your football team, it will hurt your basketball team, whatever sport you coach. When you are used to doing something a certain way and your players get used to you doing something a certain way, now to change all that up, it affects your football team. How much it affected the Buckeyes, I don't think much, but it does come into play. The truth about the whole game is that Indiana called a great game. They played a great game.
They won.
And Ohio State, and Ohio State had an opportunity to win that game. They just didn't step through the door. I mean, the young man has to make field goals.
Yep.
Like, I think it was a 29-yard field goal, I believe it was, that he missed, something that he probably makes 100 times every week.
Yep.
And he just pulled it. I believe that it's very hard to stop a locomotive of inspiration. I've been on that side of it. I've been against it.
Right.
And sometimes, man, when you look at that game in Indiana, everything has kind of been going their way this year. You look at a couple games they should have lost this year that they didn't. They made last-second catches in the back of the end zone, and, it just worked out. So I'm with Hot Rod. Hats off to Indiana and their coaching staff and their players and the game plan they put together. I'm actually glad that Ohio State lost. I believe in the law of averages. I believe in today's modern sports, it's hard to run the table and stay undefeated. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with that with student athletes. So now that is off the table. Now the Ohio State Buckeyes can get back to business, and as Rod said, regroup as a family and as a team. And let me say one more thing before I turn this back over to you guys. I'm going to say it because it just needs to be said. I am so tired, man. And maybe it's just me. I don't know how you fellas feel. And what I'm about to say does not reflect Cap, and it does not reflect Hot Rod. I don't even know if these guys feel the same. But I'm so tired of Kirk Herbstreit. I am tired, dude. I am tired of Kirk Herbstreit, one of the worst quarterbacks in Buckeyes lore. He has etched out a nice career for himself. He's a great announcer. He's part of that College Game Day show, which is absolutely fantastic. So he couldn't make it in the NFL. Neither could I. So I'm not throwing shade on him there. He couldn't make it in the NFL. So he's carved out a nice niche. But I am so tired of Kirk Herbstreit because he sits on a panel. He's from Ohio State. He got his degree from Ohio State. People know he's from Ohio State. And anytime he really opens his mouth about Ohio State, it's always about something negative. And then you got the turncoat on the other side of him, Desmond Howard, who's from Cleveland, who is always defending Michigan right in front of him. And Kirk Herbstreit can't form his mouth to say anything. Like, if you watch the whole College Game Day pregame show, guys, do you know that they really didn't mention anything about the Michigan-Ohio State game?
Of course not.
The last 4 years, we have had to stomach the team up north beating our butts, and then the next Saturday, we would have to hear about it.
Right.
There was no discussion about that game.
Right.
There was no discussion about that game. Kirk Herbstreit just stood up there and said nothing, and then watch the turncoat, I won't even say his name, the turncoat talk about how Indiana was going to beat us. There was no mention about the team up north. I'm just sick and tired of Kirk Herbstreit.
Hey, man, speak
and
with
his
your chest,
man.
L. Train. Tell us how you feeling, bro.
I'm just tired of it, man.
Yeah. Well said.
Oh, my
Tell
goodness.
us how you really
man,
feel.
I'm tired.
Tell us how you really
I'm tired
feel.
of Kirk Herbstreit, man. And I know he's got to stay on the show. Because he makes that show great. It's just his relationship with Ohio State and Ohio State fans should be better. It just should be better. That's my take.
Yeah. Give the applause right there.
There you go. Hey, where's the clap sound? Where's the clap sound?
Oh man, I'm just tired of it. Kirk, listen, man. Kurt Herbstreit almost made me curse, but I know my kids are watching. Mrs. Austin is watching. I don't want to go there.
The views expressed by L Train does not. Man, and you said the worst Buckeye quarterback. Oh, that's a start, one bench, one cut, one. Yeah. Yeah, but no.
Exactly.
A lot.
Y'all often forget he was a quarterback.
Agree.
Yeah, so he was very insignificant. Very insignificant.
I totally agree. But mainly when I listen to Game Day, it's more of Coach Saban and Pat McAfee. I'll listen to those guys. And then if I want a Buckeye perspective, I actually go to Pat McAfee and listen to A.J. Hawk. Because A.J. Hawk will give you straight up, Ohio State stuff. But no, I do agree. I'm not worried about Desmond Howard. Desmond is Desmond. It is what it is. When he comes back to Cleveland, he always pumps up Cleveland when he come back. It's just when he get on that TV talking about Michigan, boy. But I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched him much this year with Lee Corso being gone. With him not being there, so I don't really pay that much attention to those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that just need reform out there. So the best place to get reform is you either go to 3-a-days or you go to boot camp. And right now we got the boot camp open. Cap, who you got in your boot camp this week?
Yeah,
man?
I got a couple of I got one group of fan base from the 412, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Last week at the game, the fans in that stadium, whatever the name of that stadium is, to me, it's still Three Rivers Stadium, but it's not Three Rivers anymore. They were saying, fire Tomlin, whatever. No, it's got a new name. It's not Heinz Field anymore. It's got something else. Yeah, but anyway, report to boot camp. Everyone that was in that stadium last week saying, fire Tomlin, okay? Yeah. Hey, the Steelers have only had 3 head coaches since my childhood. There's a standard there. Yeah, granted, y'all haven't won a playoff game in a while. I get it. But, hey, I'll take your coach any day. So all those fans that were in the stadium last week saying, fire Tomlin, report to boot camp immediately. Dog tags, shine boots, and haircut, okay? That entire fan base from the 412 that was in the stadium. And then the second person, that was a group. Second person is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I know I butchered his name, but Giannis wants out of Milwaukee, okay? He's been flip-flopping back and forth, and now finally this week, he's made it clear, to his peeps that he wants out. So Giannis, you and your brother both, because he's got to go too. If you want out, take him with you. So I want Giannis, because again, I thought Giannis was a little different than these other guys that want to move around. You won a championship in Milwaukee, man.
Yep.
You did a great thing, okay? You did a great thing. Hey, it's, championships are hard to win. They're hard to come by, okay? But again, you were flip-flopping back and forth. You could have, left during the offseason, but now here you come saying you want out of there. So I want Giannis and his brother to report to boot camp as well. Because, hey, Milwaukee is a city that's similar to, our city, okay? And I feel for those fans there. So the fan base in Pittsburgh that was at the stadium last week reported to boot camp, and Giannis Antetokounmpo and your brother, you show up too for boot camp for wanting out of Milwaukee.
It may
so
seem
those
like
are my
a bit
two
of
for boot camp
pushback
this week.
there, Cap. Those are good ones. But let me ask you this: what else does Giannis have to
There you
do?
go. Push back.
He's done so much for that organization, and they really, honestly.
Hey.
But here's what
They put
my
some
thing
pieces
is
around
this:
him.
what pieces
They
have
put some
they
pieces
put
around him to win.
They
put
let
some pieces
Damian
around him.
Lillard go. They went on ahead and just outright cut him after he tore his Achilles, okay? And then they went and got the center from Indiana.
That wasn't a good match.
As
That
if,
wasn't a good fit.
Miles Turner.
Yeah, that
they
wasn't
went
a
and got
good fit.
Miles
That wasn't a good
Turner.
fit.
And but I haven't seen anything else. They have Kevin Porter Jr., they got Bobby Portis, and they got French fries and hamburgers. Here's a guy that won a championship for this city, okay? And don't get me wrong. Listen, I remember when LeBron left. I was upset when LeBron left, but now years down the line, I understand why he left, because there was nothing that was coming to Cleveland at the time. He wasn't going to win with Anderson Varejao, and Mo Williams at that time. He wasn't going to win. He needed to go somewhere and learn how to win. And I think with Giannis, Giannis has done so much for Milwaukee. He wants to continue to win. It's not like, and like I said, I agree with you, but it's not like Reggie Miller, where Reggie Miller spent his entire career in Indiana and he sniffed the championship, but he never won it. Where Giannis then won one, and now he's trying to win again. So I'm like, what else does he have to do?
Right. Yeah. I think the flip-flopping back and forth ride, okay? 1 minute he says, I'm here, I'm invested, I want to stay, and then the next minute, I want out, just back and forth. Make up your mind. And I guess now he has made up his mind, so you and your brother report to boot camp and then get your tail out of there. Get your tail out of there. Yep. It's the flip-flopping going back and forth for me with him. Yep.
Drop and give him 20. 20. Now,
That's right.
I can talk about the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, because you're there. Yeah, you're there.
Because I live up here, fellas.
Yeah, you're there.
I know what's going on. I think I look at Giannis Antetokounmpo in the same light that I look at Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings. These dudes are team players. They want to win with the organizations that they are with. And I think credit to the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the Milwaukee Bucks have really tried to put some things around Giannis Antetokounmpo. It is tough in Milwaukee, man. It's not a great destination. Just like Minnesota is not looked at like South Beach and LA and New York, all these big markets. And so I think Giannis is starting to see that it's not going to be as easy as, it may seem to put a team together up there. I mean, keep in mind, they had Drew Holiday. They gave him to the Celtics. He didn't want Drew Holiday to go. They had Dante DiVincenzo up here at one time, that was part of that championship team. He didn't want Dante DiVincenzo to go. So, I mean, there's just been a lot of names that have come through the Milwaukee Bucks organization that Giannis has wanted to keep. And then, fellas, keep in mind, they were strapped with the second apron after that and really didn't have a good roster. Like T, you just said, the Damian Lillard trade, that was a bust. That didn't work out. And so to get out from under that contract, I mean, they had to let him go. But, just like Kyrie told the Cleveland fans, I remember Kyrie when he was at a elementary school or a middle school, I can't remember what it was. And the kid said, hey, Kyrie, are you going to leave us like LeBron or something like that? And Kyrie said, nah, I'm going to be here. It's tough, man. It's tough. People change their mind. Hey, but hey, I like Giannis in the boot camp. He needs to be reformed so he can stay in Milwaukee because I want to see him stay in Milwaukee.
And we'll go easy on his sore calf, too, in the boot camp. We'll keep that in mind, his sore calf right now. Boot camp. That's right.
Now we got start one, bench one, cut one, and race one this week, I believe. It's our guy,
Yes,
Hot
sir.
Rod.
So
I'm ready for you, man. I knew it was your week. I'm ready.
We're going to talk about defensive linemen, all-time defensive linemen. And let's go ahead and start one, bench one, cut one, and erase one. Your first defensive lineman is Reggie White.
I'm ready.
Your second defensive lineman is Aaron Donald. Your third defensive lineman is Warren Sapp. And your last defensive lineman is the great Deacon Jones.
Oh, come on,
Did you
Hot
want me to put
Rod.
Myles Garrett there? I mean, I could.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
Reggie White, Aaron Donald.
You talking about four great
Warren
ones. You
Sapp,
talking about four great ones now.
Deacon Jones.
Man, this is wow. All right, T, I'll let you go at this first, man.
Okay, give me a second. Man,
I need some time to think about this one.
This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Okay, let me see. Man.
Tough.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start. Definitely you gotta start with the legend, Deacon Jones, no doubt. Hands down. Deacon Jones. Start with him. They probably weren't even counting sacks back when he was playing. So I'm gonna start Deacon Jones. I'm a bench the late great Reggie White. I'm going to bench Reggie.
Okay.
Man, this is where it really, really gets tough. I'm going to cut Warren Sapp. I'm going to cut him. I'm going to cut Warren Sapp. And unfortunately, last but not least, I'm going to erase the great Aaron Donald. I'm going to erase him. So, again, start with Deacon, start him, bench Reggie White, cut Warren Sapp, and erase Aaron Donald. That was tough, man. That was tough. Real tough. Yikes.
All right. I am going to I am going to start Reggie White. I am going to bench Deacon Jones. I am going to cut Warren Sapp. And unfortunately, because the list is so strong, Hot Rod put us in there like that, I'm going to have to erase the great Aaron Donald, man. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. That's what I got. Reggie White, Deacon Jones,
hard,
Warren
gentlemen.
Sapp, Aaron
I know
Donald.
it was hard when I put it together. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow.
Now,
it is very hard.
One of the two of
Thank you, Hot Rod.
I am in
Thank
complete agreement with. And that person is L Train. I am starting Reggie White. I am benching Deacon Jones. I am cutting
That was
Warren
hard
Sapp,
for me.
and I'm erasing Aaron Donald. And but Aaron Donald was erased just by circumstance.
So we all erased the same
because
one.
I was flip-flopping between Reggie White and Deacon Jones because Deacon Jones invented the term sack.
Yeah.
He invented it. Okay, so Deacon Jones was the was the innovator.
Right.
Okay, but Reggie White was such a game wrecker because Reggie White could play inside and out. Okay, and was just as good. Warren Sapp was a 3 technique. So him and Aaron Donald were really the only ones inside. Deacon Jones and Reggie White play in and out. So that's kind of what led me to, but I knew this was going to be tough when I put it together.
That was a tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost went with T. I almost went Deacon Jones. Like, I would have no problem with Deacon Jones being a starter in this list. Reggie White just edged him out just a tad bit for me. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah. And none of us are old enough to remember when Deacon Jones played, but I've seen the highlights, heard the stories.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, every picture of him. I mean, that's back when they used to kill quarterbacks,
Jones
man. He wouldn't be able to play in the league today. Deacon Jones wouldn't be able to play in the league today.
He would come off the ball, and he would slap the offensive lineman right in his ear hole, which would make his ears ring. And by the time he got his faculties back together, Deacon was at the quarterback. So they had to outlaw that.
Yeah. At the quarterback. Yep.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it, fellas. We really didn't have an opportunity to watch Deacon Jones play in all his glory. But the other 3 we had the opportunity to watch. So I think that comes into play as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Heard the stories. Yep.
Yeah. All right, fellas. It's almost time to wrap this thing up. So it's time for our parting shots. What parting shots do you have today?
I'm going to start first. Mine is kind of like a rant, man. You know, where's Kenny, Shaq, and you know, that old TNT crew? Now, I know TNT went away and they were supposed to merge to ESPN, but it is so hard to find a basketball game now on in the evening.
I know.
Okay? You got to go to Prime or you got to go to Peacock. Okay, now, I have those streaming services, but not everybody does. But every night, it's like you got to search for a basketball game. Living here in Virginia, the only games that I can see locally, you know, since this is the DC TV market, you know, the Wizards are always on, okay? Just like during baseball season, the Orioles are always on, and then football, the Ravens. But the Wizards are the only team that I can turn on the TV and find. When I want to see the Cavaliers, I got to go to the streaming networks, okay? I thought NBC was going to be playing games. I thought ESPN was going to be playing games. Where's Kenny, Shaq, and Charles and those guys and Ernie? Where are they, man?
Yep.
You know, so, you know, it's kind of more so like a rant. Now, again, like I say, I have those services, but not everybody does. And then you all know I don't mind listening to the game. So sometimes I'll listen to, you know, the Cavs game on XM radio, you know, hear my man Austin Carr and Jim Jones and those guys. And then Brad Sellers does the post-game show. But again, it's hard to turn on the TV and find a basketball game. And my prayer is that football doesn't become the same way. So where is basketball? Where's the TNT guys?
So,
where are they? It's
I got
kind of like
I got
a rant
couple
for me
real.
on that.
I got a couple real
That's my
quick.
party
Number one,
shot.
I want to shout out my
That's
nephew
a good one.
Connor Shields. His team played football in the state championship this weekend. He's a senior in high school and went through a lot in high school and finally had the opportunity to play for a state championship. Although they did not win, I'm so proud of him. The fact that he did not quit, that he continued to push, and that he got an opportunity that a lot of young people don't get, is to even be there. And so I want to send a shout out to him. Also, I want to send my condolences to the families of Eldon Campbell. It seems like every time we come on this show, somebody in our youth is now gone. And Eldon Campbell just passed away. He was a backup center for the Los Angeles Lakers, the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah.
And so I just want to send my condolences out to his families.
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Life is precious.
That's a good one. That is another good one. My parting shot, I want to send just a parting shot out to the Union football team. I believe they're in Appalachia. Is that Pennsylvania? Or I believe it's Pennsylvania. They have the missing football coach who...
That's here in Virginia. That's in Virginia.
Yeah, that's in
Western
Virginia.
part of the state in Virginia, yeah.
This football team, I won't get into specifics. You know, you got all the YouTube stuff and all the things that you can talk about, what you can't talk about. But the football coach was found out to be doing something inappropriate.
Yeah.
He went home one day. Long story short, he told his wife that he was going to go for a walk in the woods.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, later on, police showed up at his house wanting to question him about some inappropriate things that supposedly he was doing. The football team was in the midst of an undefeated football season, and they have been going through the playoffs basically under a spotlight without their head coach. And so they put an interim coach in. They just lost this past weekend on a 2-point conversion in the state semifinals. So as a young student athlete, I know how hard it is. Hot Rod, you've coached football. I know how hard it is to, when you have that big of an distraction, because that's essentially an atomic bomb that was laid in the locker room of your football team. To be able to focus on that and keep all the white noise out, so to speak, those men need to be commended, and hats off to a great football season. Sorry that you have to go through this, but the coaches that kept that thing together and the players on that team that kept that thing together, hats off to you, man, because that's a very unfortunate incident.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, and that's about 4 hours west of me, L Train, out in the western part of the state. And yeah, that's a sad story, man. And where they say he disappeared to, that's the Smoky Mountains, and that's rough terrain. That's nothing but wilderness out there, man. So ain't no telling.
Yeah.
Ain't no telling. Yep.
And last thing, and I'm throwing this out to you fellas, because I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to watch it or if you have any interest in watching it. But if you haven't, I would recommend watching 50 Cent's new documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard them talking about it. Yeah, I heard them. They were talking about it on the Karen Hunter show earlier this week, and my wife and I were talking about it. So yeah, eventually I am. The only thing I don't like about it, it seems as though 50 is kind of, he really, really dislikes Puffy, okay?
He does.
And this is a really, really serious topic, really, really sensitive.
It is.
But it's kind of like he's rubbing it in, But eventually I am going to watch it. I am. But I just wish, 50, wouldn't be so petty and just so rough on, okay, we know you dislike the guy, this and that, I got it. But yeah, I'm eventually going to watch it. I eventually I am. Yeah.
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 It is just amazing to me, just the whole documentary, no matter what side you fall on, is the amount of video footage that somehow he was able to acquire.
Makes you wonder.
It's unbelievable, fellas. But it's if that's something that you're interested in, I would recommend watching it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And one other thing too, 30 for 30 on Stuart Scott, on the late Stuart Scott, I believe on December 10th.
I gotta watch that.
I gotta watch that. Yeah.
I gotta watch that. Miss Stuart Scott, man. Miss.
Yeah.
Stuart Scott.
He was great. He was great.
Well, fellas, another great show. Another great show. Thanks for being part of 3 the Hard Way. We'll be back hitting you next Sunday. Please hit that like and subscribe button.
Tell a friend about us.
That's right. We're continuing to grow. On behalf of my guys, Hot Rod, and
remember Hot Rod show too, L Train. Hot Rod show. Yeah, I didn't catch him last night. I usually catch him. He's good, man.
The locker room. If you want a deep dive,
locker room.
If you want a deep dive into Cleveland sports, and it's not only Cleveland sports. I mean, Hot Rod is versatile. Hot Rod's like a Swiss Army knife. He can talk about anything and give you thoughts about anything. But if you want to hit a Goodman podcast, the locker room is definitely the podcast.
Once you go on YouTube and if you haven't subscribed here, go ahead and subscribe here for 3 the Hard Way, and then roll on down and go ahead and get into the locker room, because it's all good content. Trust me.
Yep. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, fellas, we'll see you again next Sunday. 3 to
All
Hard Way
right.
Nation. Make sure you keep tuning in. And as always, we will see you when we see you.
Great
Good night,
job
fellas.
again, fellas. Great job.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.